A confirmed update came in within the last 48 hours that directly affects Social Security, SSI, SSDI, survivor, and retirement payments as we transition out of January and into February. According to newly verified internal processing updates tied to the Social Security Administration's February payment calendar, long-running processing delays from late January are now clearing. This is not speculation and not a projection. It reflects finalized processing steps that determine who receives deposits next and how February payments will move. Before we go any further, take 1 second to tap the like button. It helps this update reach other seniors who may be waiting on the same information. This update is for beneficiaries whose payments were delayed at the end of January or who are scheduled for early February deposits. Now let me share with you a very important and personal story connected directly to this update. A few days ago, I heard from a 69-year-old woman named Carol from Erie, Pennsylvania. Carol worked as a school aide for most of her adult life. She retired earlier than planned after arthritis made standing all day unbearable. Her Social Security retirement check is her main source of income. She told me she plans every month carefully. Mortgage first, heating bill second, prescriptions next, groceries come last. Carol expected her January deposit toward the end of last week. When it did not arrive, she assumed it was a one-day delay. By the second day, she started worrying. Erie has been dealing with extreme winter weather, and her heating bill was higher than usual. By the third day, she told me she felt something she had not felt in years. Fear, not panic, but that quiet fear that comes when you do everything right and still feel uncertain. She said something that stayed with me. She said, "I don't need more help. I just need consistency. I planned my life around the schedule they gave me." That sentence explains exactly why these processing delays matter so much. Seniors like Carol are not waiting for bonuses or surprises. They are waiting for predictability. Carol also told me the hardest part was not knowing what was happening. No letter, no alert, no explanation, just silence. At a time of life when stability matters more than speed, that silence feels heavy. If you are watching this and you are from Pennsylvania like Carol, or from another cold weather state dealing with similar timing issues, tell me your state or city in the comments. If you are from a different region entirely, share where you are watching from as well. That helps me track where February payment issues are showing up and bring you updates that actually matter to your area. Now let us talk about what is changing as we move into February. The Social Security Administration has confirmed that several late January payment files were held briefly for reconciliation before being released. Those files are now clearing. That matters because February payments are built on top of January processing. When January clears cleanly, February moves on schedule. Here is what that means in plain terms. Beneficiaries who experience late January delays are now positioned to receive their next deposits without rollover issues. The clearing of these delays resets the system ahead of February's payment cycle. Now let me be very clear about who receives deposits next. Early February payments will include SSI recipients whose February benefits are scheduled for release at the start of the month, as well as retirement and disability beneficiaries whose February payment dates fall in the first and second week based on birthdate scheduling. Survivors and concurrent beneficiaries tied to the same processing groups are also included. One important detail many people miss is that February is a shorter month. That changes internal processing pacing even when payment dates remain the same. The SSA adjusts settlement timing slightly to account for fewer calendar days. That is one reason January cleanup matters so much. Now here is where most people get confused. When a January payment is delayed, people worry that February will also be delayed or reduced. That is not how the system works. A clear January payment does not reduce or replace February benefits. February payments are calculated independently once prior processing issues are resolved. Here is what directly affects your money next. According to internal February scheduling guidance, payment files for the first wave of February deposits are already being staged. That means accounts that cleared verification during late January will be included automatically. No action is required from beneficiaries whose information has not changed. This is especially important for seniors who made recent updates to direct deposit information, address details, or benefit coordination. Once those changes pass verification, they carry forward into February without restarting the process. Now let us talk about livest matters heading into February specifically. February often brings higher expenses for seniors. Heating costs remain elevated in many regions. Prescription refills reset at the beginning of the year. Medicare-related deductions continue adjusting early in the year. When deposits arrive on time, those pressures are manageable. When they do not, stress compounds quickly. That is why clearing January delays before February is so significant. It reduces the risk of cascading issues that could otherwise follow beneficiaries into the new month. There is another February factor many people are not aware of. The SSA uses early year processing to identify accounts that may require additional review later in the year. Accounts that clear smoothly in February are less likely to experience mid-year interruptions. In other words, stability now helps protect stability later. Now let me address something I know many of you are thinking. Does this mean everyone will be paid at the same time in February? No. Payments still follow the standard schedule. What has changed is that delayed accounts are no longer stuck behind unresolved January files. If your payment normally arrives early in the month, you should see it on time. If it normally arrives mid-month, there is no indication of delay at this time. If your payment normally arrives later in February, clearing January reduces the risk of rollover issues. Now let us talk honestly for a moment. Even when payments arrive on time, many seniors are stretched thin. Food prices remain high, utility bills fluctuate, medical costs continue rising. A single delayed deposit can force impossible choices. That is why predictability matters more than headlines. There are steps you can take to protect yourself heading into February. First, avoid making unnecessary changes to your SSA account unless absolutely required. Frequent changes can trigger verification holds. Second, keep a simple record of your expected payment dates. Knowing your normal schedule helps reduce unnecessary worry. Third, if you recently moved or changed banks, expect one cycle of adjustment, but not ongoing delays once verified. Fourth, if you are unsure about your February schedule, reviewing official SSA payment calendars can provide clarity without speculation. Now let me say something directly to you if you are feeling anxious. You are not wrong to feel this way. Relying on a fixed income requires trust in the system. When that trust is shaken, even briefly, it leaves a mark. The fact that these January delays are clearing before February matters more than many people realize. This is also why sharing your location matters. Different regions experience different processing patterns based on banking networks, state coordination, and seasonal volume. When you tell me where you are watching from, it helps identify patterns that may not be visible nationally. Before we continue, let me ask you to subscribe if you have not already. This channel exists to bring you timely, verified updates focused on what actually affects your money, not recycled headlines. Now let us look ahead. February payments are expected to follow the standard schedule, barring unexpected system interruptions. At this time, there is no indication of widespread February delays. Clearing January files was the final step needed to stabilize the transition. This does not mean nothing can change. It means the foundation is stable right now. As we move deeper into February, attention will shift toward March scheduling and early year benefit coordination. Those updates will be shared as soon as they are confirmed. For now, The key takeaway is this. Processing delays from late January are clearing. February deposits are moving forward on schedule for most beneficiaries. Those who experience delays are not being penalized or skipped. The system is resetting as intended. If your January payment arrived late, watch your February deposit closely but calmly. There is no indication that February benefits will be reduced or withheld due to January timing. And if you are still waiting on a late January payment, the clearing process now underway significantly increases the likelihood of resolution before February deposits begin. In closing, this update reflects confirmed processing progress as we move into February. It is based on verified scheduling steps, not rumor or guesswork. Stability is returning where uncertainty existed just days ago. Stay informed, stay grounded, and remember that you are not alone in navigating this system. I will continue to monitor February developments closely and bring you updates as soon as they are confirmed.